It's been said that better questions lead us naturally to better answers, and that it's in not knowing that we open the doorway to knowing. I'm Scott Lennox, and you're listening to The Beautiful Question, a consideration of things that truly matter in a complex world. What can we effectively do when we find ourselves feeling overwhelmed by the intensity of everything that's happening in the world and the intensity of things around us? This week, we'll consider some heartful and realistic answers to Leo Tolstoy's timeless question, what then must we do? As you're about to hear, you have many more options than you may have been telling yourself. Stay with me. As things continue to intensify globally and nationally and locally, I'm hearing more and more people ask some form of Leo Tolstoy's question, what then must we do? And with increasing frequency. In separate conversations, several different people asked me this question earlier this week. The title of Tolstoy's 1886 non-fiction work can also be translated as What is to be Done? In it, he took a direct look at social issues in the Russia of his time. Without a doubt, his question is one of the most essential questions for our time. Though we may sometimes feel it, this is not a time for paralysis, but for actions that are both soulful and collaborative. And yet I regularly counsel with people who are feeling isolated and stuck. Not a day goes by that I don't ask myself what I can do and how I can make a difference regardless of how small. How can I make a difference in the tear-stained face of grief and loss? How can I make a difference in the emotionally charged faces of fear and anger? How can I make a difference in the horrifying face of widespread senseless violence? How can I make a difference in the undeniable face of global climate change? How can I possibly make a difference in the vitriolic face of social divisions of every kind? What can I possibly do to help promote sanity and hope in a world where despair and confusion are reaching pandemic levels? In what real and measurable ways can I help people awaken to an authentic sense of personal agency in a time when feelings of powerlessness are spreading? What soulful and meaningful things can I do to touch the lives of others with kindness and empathy, with openness and respect? With what acts of rational compassion can I heartfully and realistically respond to those who are suffering so deeply that they find themselves all but incapable of articulating it, much less discussing it? These questions won't leave me alone, nor should they. After all, I'm a citizen in this troubled world that I love so very much. What I emphatically refuse to do is accept the idea that what is happening is of such magnitude or intensity or madness or force or complexity or what have you, that it's beyond my ability to respond in meaningful ways. I refuse to accept the notion that I am powerless to do something useful. That answer is too easy and is an outright lie. So that brings me back to the question, what then must I do? And where? And when? And for that matter, where, right now, can I look for and find real answers? It should come as no surprise that the starting place for those answers is inside myself, not outside. When I stop and quiet myself long enough and listen deeply enough and allow stillness to arise, my answers to those questions and many others match Tolstoy's answer. If I'm to make a difference at any level, it will happen because I am actively and intentionally adding my light to the sum of light in whatever ways I can. In fact, it is precisely that awareness that inspires me to end every episode of these podcasts and to sign every letter and email I write with my light, with your light. I can hear people saying, well, Scott, that's easy to say. But what does adding light really look like? Where would you do it? And what earthly good can it possibly do in the face of so much intensity? You know, far from being put off by that question, I find it to be one of the questions that opens the door to deeper conversation. And that has to be a good thing. The longer I sit with this consideration, the more convinced I am that while overall solutions are far from simple and may seem at times impossible, effective individual steps are elegantly simple and begin exactly where we are. I find it imperative to repeatedly remind myself that as long as I have breath, there is light in me, and that the light was placed there by something supremely greater, far more intelligent, unimaginably complex, and infinitely more powerful than I am, and that I am inextricably connected to that source. The same light that fills and illuminates the universe is right here within me. Mind you, in no way am I suggesting that you need to believe what I believe, or that your faith should match mine, or that you should have a faith at all. I won't participate in that kind of hubris. What I am saying is that every time I remind myself that it is the light within us that enlivens each one of us, something changes in my thinking and in my experience with myself and others. When I consciously remind myself of the multiple times that light has banished darkness from my own life, I feel blessed, encouraged, inspired, and more than grateful. When I remind myself that there is no darkness that can overwhelm or extinguish light, I am emboldened to keep going. And when I remember that small things can add up to big things, I gently come back into the present and recognize that I can take action right where I am. I don't have to be a hero or even try to act like one. I only have to stay true to what I am and true to what is in me, taking action one thought, one decision, one step at a time. In each moment, I have the choice to shut down and live in fear, or to stand in the fullness of all that I am, doing what I trust to be true and to be the most right for myself and others. The title of this episode, What Then Must We Do?, is this week's beautiful question. Since adding light so often begins with small steps, in no particular order, I offer you a list of 30 simple but important things that you can do wherever you are right now. 1. Make sure you're getting enough sleep. I can't stress how important that one is. We need to regularly drop into dream sleep to stay mentally and emotionally healthy. That we dream is much more important than what we dream. 2. Stay informed without allowing yourself to become overwhelmed. Just exactly how much news and information are you capable of taking in and processing at any given time? Limiting the amount of news you're listening to will help you maintain a better attitude. It's not about putting your head in the sand. 3. Set a pace you can maintain without becoming drained or exhausted. This starts with listening to yourself and taking regular significant breaks along the way. 4. Avoid getting caught up in unnecessary drama. That includes your own as well as everyone else's. One of the things that I tell myself over and over is if I want drama, I'll go to a play or write one. 5. Stay socially connected with good people who care about you and who don't want to take something away from you. Healthy and robust social networks strengthen each of us. 6. Step away from time to time. Not as a way of being selfish, but as a way of being self-honoring, self-loving, and self-nurturing. When we step away, we're not so prone to become brittle and then break. 7. Monitor what you're mentally taking in. not just the news, but the conversations and the gossip and the mindless negative chatter you hear swirling around you. If you have to, walk away. 8. Monitor the thought traffic that's passing through your mind, including what you're telling yourself. It's vital to consciously notice what our mental habits are and occasionally put stop signs up and obey them. 9. Spend regular time in conscious neutral. This doesn't include surfing the web or watching television or reading a book or taking a nap or playing games, but consciously meditating and quieting yourself for as long as you need. 10. Make at least 2 or 3 meaningful contacts every day. Go beyond text messages or emails. Pick up the phone or get face-to-face with someone you care about. 11. Take a moment to tell someone that you love them. They may need to hear it more deeply than they'll tell you. 12. Take another moment to tell yourself the same thing. You need to hear it just as much as everyone else, especially from yourself. 13. Silently hold someone and let them hold you for 60 seconds. The more we safely connect in real ways with another human being, the more our own humanity relaxes and becomes more supple. 14. Find things that make you smile and laugh. If you need to, write down an inventory of things that make you laugh. Then get busy doing at least some of those things on a regular basis. 15. Drink more water. Not just the water in your tea or coffee, but unbound water. Your body and your brain will thank you. 16. Cut your to-do list in half. This isn't about being lazy or leaving things undone. It's about making your list manageable without flooding or overwhelming yourself. You'll get to the rest later. 17. Whatever you're working on, break it into smaller pieces. As you get the manageable pieces done, you'll eventually accomplish the greater whole. 18. Treat yourself the same way a best friend would treat you. Ask yourself, what are the traits of a best friend? And then do some of those things for yourself. 19. Breathe deeply and gently. I can't overstress the importance of this one. It's time to stop holding your breath. 20. Remember who and what you really are. You're a human being, not a human doing. You are not the sum of your output or the things that you do. 21. Ask for help. Unless you spend your days wearing a mask, carrying silver bullets, riding a horse named Silver, and personally knowing and trusting someone named Tonto, I guarantee you that you are not the Lone Ranger. And isn't it ironic that the so-called Lone Ranger didn't ride alone? He had someone with him. 22. Go talk with a professional. I'm not saying that because I am one. I'm saying that because sometimes it is so useful to gain a perspective from one who is objectively heartful. 23. Recharge your faith practice if you have one. Connecting with something greater than ourselves has the power to lift us. Remember, picking yourself up by your bootstraps is a myth. 24. Engage in regular acts of self-investment or creativity, even if it's nothing more than drawing in a coloring book or arranging flowers. If it pleases you and hurts no one else, do it and take delight in it. 25. Be where things are growing. When we directly connect with nature, we heal faster, we relax, we refocus, and we reset our connection with the earth. 26. Vote. If it's personal, It's political. Your vote matters. Your voice matters. It vitally matters that we are engaged as members of we, the people. 27. Rest and be still, but don't give up. Take all the time you need to let down as you restore from the inside out. Then, when you're fresher and clearer headed, keep going. 28. Trust the good within you. This is a great time, a marvelous time to consciously notice every good thing about yourself, every strength, gift, ability, capacity, talent, blessing, inner resource. The better you know yourself, the more clearly you know what to do from one moment to the next. 29. Remember that you are made of light. It is that light that makes you what you are. Think of light as not dark, not dense, not heavy, not serious, not deadly. Light is found in what you do, but it is the essence of what you are. And last of all, number 30. Do the things on this list or write your own. Don't give in and do nothing. If you do, you, and not the world, are the one rendering yourself powerless, and you are anything but powerless. Made from light, you are so very powerful. As you put some of these things into place, or back into place, I look forward to hearing about it and hearing about your success. I also look forward to hearing about the steps you're taking to make a measurable difference in your own life. You matter so very much, and I'm honored to be part of this vitally important conversation with you. As I say each week, my light with your light. Thank you again for listening. I'm always inspired by our collaboration as we work and play together, building better lives and better possibilities for ourselves, for one another, for the world, and for our beautiful planet home. I look forward to your comments and to your feedback. You can also be inspired by visiting my good friends at Cosmos Journal. Their mission is to inform, inspire, and engage global transformation in harmony with all life. You can easily find them online at kosmosjournal.org. And as always, you can find my free podcasts and guided relaxation audios by searching for The Beautiful Question in Apple Podcasts or SoundCloud or CastBox, or by visiting the podcast page of my website at scottlennox.com. If you find them useful or encouraging, don't hesitate to share them. I'm Scott Lennox, and this has been The Beautiful Question. The Beautiful Question is a One Light production, written, recorded, produced, and funded by Scott Lennox at Heart Rock Studios in Fort Worth, Texas, as a way of paying forward to life, being fully present, and becoming better engaged with things that truly matter in a complex world.